Happy Thursday morning, everyone. This video seemed like it did pretty well last week, so we're going to stick with it and we're going to delve in a little bit deeper, given we can look at where these guys are at for their buy planning, which is awesome. We can check out what trades they've made as well and make an informed decision on the direction that they should head. And last week we had a little bit of interesting, fun feedback, as always. One of them was that I spent more time on the teams that were doing really well and less time on the teams that were struggling. So today we've amended that and we're going to help the teams that are further out. We're starting off with our favorite member of the JBFA community, Katrina Kickbush, that's for sure. She's sitting in at 28k, so we're going to help her out with her squad. These are the VIP supporters, so the people that have spent the most money to jump in the crew. They get extra help, and it's just the best way of supporting me outside of watching those videos. So we're going to start with her at 28k. We're going to move into a couple of teams in the 20s, then into the top 10k, and into the top 5k, finishing with Adam and his team in 258th. So a little bit different advice across all of them. Let me know what you think of it, and we've got 7 teams to go through, so hopefully we get a lot out of it. Now, for Katrina and her team with where she's at. Now, we'll look at just some trades. She got very unlucky with Karaz last week as the trade-in, dealing with injuries the week before with Marzu, trading him out, but got Aaron Clark, so that was a good win there on that one. And as I said, unlucky with Karaz. So Pacifica Tonga was the other one that did come in as a bit of a cash down, which generally isn't going to be too bad, but does mean we have 2 of those cheaper cash downs right now. And this is probably the thing to focus on going into the next couple of months is cheapies and their role. Now, overall, in 13, 16, and 19, these cheapies aren't going to mean anything, right? Because you're looking at your 13 best scorers across all positions, obviously, out of 21. Now, where it might be a little bit of a problem is their place in your team for the major buys, and then how it's going to work come the end of the season and the last sort of 8-9 rounds after Origin. How are they going to affect your team, cash generation wise, if they're not actually making too much cash, like what Pacifica Tonga might be like, and how many of these cheaper mid-range type of guys you do have in your side. So she's sitting with Riley Smith, Savannah, Pacifica Tonga, King Tonga, and Jazz Tavanga as the main cheap guys in the side. Now, one that's done really well is Halasima. So having there in the starting edge has been awesome, and very happy with where she's at for that one there. So what have we got? 284 in the bank. And looking into next week, let's get the 2025 buy planner out. And as you can see, you can go in and type your team name in, which is the JBFA Kevy's Boys, and it sets you up with round 12 and where all your players are at. So it does show based on where they are currently sitting in your side, and you can see here she's got a whole host of her round 12 players sitting down in the bench, right? So Smith and Egan are going to cover hooker. Horsburgh's in a team, which worked out well with that one. So it's going to be Horsburgh, and it's going to be Clark, and it's going to be Jazz Tavanga in the mids, which is pretty solid overall. For the edge, she's sitting with Halasima in that one, and is missing out on an edge. So right now we do need one edge in the side. For half, we've got Savala and we've got Fogarty. For center, she's got Tamale right now. Yep. So needs a center as well. And then for wing fullback, it's Nwangani Tuaze. It is Sharp at the moment. Yeah, so it's probably going to be 3 trades to sort out. And now, when you're looking at this scenario, what you're trying to sort out is round 12 immediately. So sitting there with 10 available and 1 playing as an extra in Egan, both Egan, Egan or Riley Smith, one of them playing as the extra. So in this scenario, it's sorting out the 1 edge, it is sorting out the 1 center, and sorting out the 1 wing fullback. Okay, so now we can really focus in on that with the 280k extra. So with Jacob Kiraz as a sell this week, that's when you have one of a couple of options. That's where the wing fullback works with either Garrick or Tedesco. They're the 2 main guys. She's already got Nwangani Tuaze, who is the next best, I'd say, out of those three with Fletcher Sharp there. So if you do like Teddy, I think that's the play there. In centre, you have a few more options. Now, she doesn't actually have Lucas in the side, never bought him yet. Was worth holding off last week with the injury and completely fair. I'd still hold off. And this is where for her, I think someone like Herbie Farnworth would be really cool. So maybe going Karaz to Herbie would be great. He seems like a great scorer long term, potential captaincy option, all that good stuff there. Now, the second one becomes a little more difficult. Egan's going to have to go. So with that one, does Egan just go straight to Hosking? I would suggest yes. And the question's going to be, now she's got Fermor and Purdue. I think one of them in her team has to go, given the situation she's found herself in. I think one of them does go to Garrick. So in my opinion, the trades this week should be Hosking, Garrick and Herbie, or Garrick or Teddy would be the correct play, I think, in this one. So 3 of those 4 would be what works best. You do then have to look at round 13, and she's sitting there with a very, very full side. King Tonga, Savala, Pacifica Tonga aren't players you'd want to play in your side, but that's fine at this point. And looking at round 15, she does have a lot of players available, so that's where getting and being okay with getting guys like Hosking would be sweet. If she got Herbie, then that's sweet for that week. But also, Beau Fermor is going to be the player missing that round. It says he's available, so that's where I think Fermor over Purdue could be the easiest sell, and that could get you up to those guns fairly comfortably, rather than needing to make cash somewhere else. So for Cat this week, round 12 is a more important week to focus on to get things right. And with 22 trades available, thankfully, 3 trades isn't a problem for her. So we'll keep it simple with Cat's team this week and get her a good score in round 12 with the 13 available with 1 looper, and then go from there. She'll be down to 19 trades. Not a problem with that at all. Now, Ruboy, 17 trades available, a little bit different, sitting at 22k, 90k in the bank. Still a much better trade position than myself in 14, but yeah, the rank is not where we want to be right now. Quick review on recent trades. Havili did come in a couple of weeks ago, but with Lucas and Sharp. Isaiah Katoa and Hosking come in last week, so absolutely hectic trades. Unfortunately, though, still only got 893 with some other issues across the side there, which is tough because he's sitting with Hosking. Horsburgh there, but did play Tony Francis in the interchange, which did bring in around 3. But yeah, with that one, did he loop at all? No loops in the end. So yeah, someone like Riley Smith, Penasini, would have been slightly nicer options than Tony Francis, Rob Toyer as well. So yeah, there you go. Interesting play on that one. But let's get in and have a look at where this side is at. So again, guys, go into the buy planner, type in your team's name, and then you'll be sweet from there. So 22k. Now sitting for round 12, looking at hooker, 2 mids, and an edge. All right, Hosking's the edge. Horsburgh would have been white. Yep, so needs 1 middle. Hooker has Riley Smith, so that's fine there. So 1 middle, no edge. Karaz and wing fullback. So it looks like we need a middle and a wing fullback. Now, Karaz, fairly easy, and actually 2 wing fullbacks with Ponga out. Okay, centre has Penasini, so that's cool. He's fine, right? He's still available, I think. If he is, I'll just quickly check. I'm trying to work out, did he hurt himself? No, he's all good. So Penasini can come straight into the centres, so that's cool on that one. Garrick could then come down, or Tamale. So then we just need 1 wing fullback and 1 middle. Matt's king, 2 middles. Rough. All right, 2 middles and a wing fullback. There we go. So now, with that set up, 2 middles. How are we going to do this? This is a team where you could look at Payne Haas as a potential sell, but Dylan Egan's a definite. given he's out. Karaz is a definite, given he's out. Lucas is all good, thankfully. Max King misses round 12, 13, potentially 15, 16. Maybe you go King instead of Haas, given Haas can come back and play next week. So maybe it's King, Egan, and Karaz. King, Egan. Yeah, or you go White. King or White, Egan and Karaz. And now Hosking comes into that. So yeah, it's just the middles there. And then this is where a team where you could look at AFB pretty comfortably. It's also a team that doesn't have Clark and doesn't have Tarpanay. So I think definitely one of those two or both of those two. Sitting there with King out next week, that's where, and Karaz will be gone anyway. So I think that's where AFB is completely fine if you want to make that trade in. You've got guys like Horsburgh that can come in and play next week from your bench. Colin Batungi's probably a solid play next week. So I think mids will be fine. So some type of mixture of that would be good. And this is where it is a little bit annoying. So this is the type of team, again, that we're looking to have to make trades for round 12. And there's a select few available. And this team has different injuries with Karaz. So that's where you're looking at a couple of those big dog trades. Just make sure you set yourself up correctly to get that. Is going to work out well. And then one of those couple of wing fullbacks, Nwanga Tawaze, comes into that option as well. Someone asked about Averillo from the Finns. I think he's a good chance of playing all the big buys. 12 and 15 at fullback. But yeah, he's an okay scorer, and I don't think we want another mid-ranger, and we want to build to as many really good players as possible. So we're trading out long-term injuries like Egan. You can have a little punt play on Haas, but I think in this scenario, trading King or White probably works out a little bit better. And you do have enough cash to get those guys that we're talking about, that we talked about a little bit earlier. So yeah, the team's, it's not in a bad spot at all. Round 13 is going to be fine. Building to a decent amount of guns. And in this scenario here, we've got, Toya, who could be sold eventually, but do you want to get that one price rise out of him? It's really only Tony Francis that's the cheapie that's not doing well, and is in a spot where got guys like Savala at least to gain a little bit of cash. Riley Smith will do a job for a couple more weeks. Doesn't have Yongi, so generally he's in a pretty good spot with cheapies. And I think replacing those big dogs is cool. And then maybe in around 15 or 18, you could look at a cash down to set yourself up as a random scorer in that, but continue to build to guns and get this team moving in the right direction. Would it be how I play this one? All right, Jamie. We've got 9200th overall, so in a good spot there. But trades, just hates using trades apparently. 24 of trades used. I've completely stuffed that up, haven't I? Sad. So trades used 22. 24 trades. Okay, I've cooked that one. Scratch that, guys. He's gone triple trade every week apart from one. Okay, so Ruboy's in a better spot with 17 trades used. And Kat's in a 22 use. So she saved a couple on max, whereas Jamie's only saved one on max. Okay, so 3. Yeah. Okay, so Kat's in a similar boat to where I am. But yeah, unfortunately she has to use 3 trades anyway. Ruboy's in a good spot, only using 17 so far, so 7 less than Jamie. I've stuffed this one up, sorry guys. I'm sure you're all in the comments already saying it, but yeah, so Ruboy, get trading, get that sorted, triple trade there. Now for Jamie, this is probably a little bit of a different situation. The trades last week are amazing. Hosking, Isaiah Katoa, and Herbie Farnworth moved up 1,433 spots last week, so that was nice. Trades the week before, Kaipius Paul, Jazz Savanga, King Tonga. Week before that, Adam Fennell, Blake, Dylan Lucas, Riley Smith. Then we had Karaz, Drinkwater, Sullivan was an odd one. So trades in general have been pretty good, mate. I'm happy with where you are there. And let's have a quick look with where you're at here. JBFA Hemi. All right. So overall has a tremendous amount of players available this week. And now who do we need to worry about? Just Karaz, really. Karaz and Egan. Now, in this scenario, when you've got so many available for round 12, making one upgrade could be the correct play. He's sitting there with 2 halves. Just be aware that the next week that half position is going to get a little tougher. So having Drinkwater in there at wing fullback is good. Karaz, not available this week, sadly. But you have Garrick's there sitting on the bench that comes in and plugs that hole. And half next week, you got Cleary, and then you're playing one of the, if he backs up, and then one of the cheaper guys. So I think looking towards like a Campbell could be really good for that one there. Having Sharp that could move up, you can muck around with Teddy. Making one upgrade to that to round 12's 13 players, I think could be pretty good. But also looking at this side, it's very, very strong. Looping Wong. Savala already isn't even playing. Garrett comes in. Yeah, so it's probably just a quick one, Jamie, on just trying to get a little bit better at future planning. Now you've got guys that are complete sells, but there's no real reason to upgrade them this week. Maybe you just wait and use Egan and use guys like Karaz next week to fulfill the trades that you want to. So it might be a 0 trade week, and it's probably a smart thing to do given they've already used 20 trades. 24 trades, and there's 20 remaining. Okay, so that means if you're at 24, you've got 12 left. Yeah, okay, so Katrina had 14 left, which is the same as me, and 21 left for Rude Boy. There you go. That helps. Thank you very much for that one there. Now, Heathy Boy, who's been on the channel, shout out, has used 21 trades, so he's in a spot that's slightly better. But still not incredible. Has saved trades in 2 and 4, and then also in 8 and 10. So saved 4 trades overall from the max that we can use, but is sitting in 4,771. He just said he feels like he's very stuck in this spot here and hasn't been able to move. Now, let's just look back at a few of the trades there. Couchman in round 8, not too bad, but also got unlucky with that one. Bring in Savala and King Tonga in round 9. Savala fine. Like and fine at 230 as well. Bring in Lucas, bring Stewart in round 10. That's actually worked out okay. Drinkwater, unfortunately from round 10, 11, has had his lowest scores in a while. So that's unfortunately missing out on that one there. Got Karaz for a good score. Bought Adam Dewey and got unlucky with that one. And it's just been cycling out a few of the guys that have been injured or are coming into a space where they're not as well needed with Watson and these types of guys. So let's have a quick look at where Heath ends up. The JBFA, was it round the legs? How good. So for round 12, mids, Safedi's gone, which is frustrating. Horsburgh comes in, so it's a good hold there. Riley Smith will go up to hooker, so it'll be Clark, Horsburgh. And that's it. So we need one mid. Now, who's the sell? Munster's come into a couple of good games as well, which is helpful. So Egan definitely a sell. Favorite Munster or Haas? That's a good question. We've got Karaz. So Egan, Karaz. Does it look like a triple trade week? That's the question there. Centre position. He's got Katonga that can come in and plug that one. Wong comes into edge. Half. We can go Savala. Do we want to upgrade that position? That's probably a question you can ask. But yeah, definitely the 2 trades needed with the mid and then wing fullback as well. With Drinky out. So it'd be Sharp Ayongi. Yeah, Sharp Ayongi and nobody. So yeah, it feels like just a 2 trade a week, brother. Egan and Munster or Egan and... Yeah, it just feels like Karaz. Egan and Karaz. And then just fix those 2. And I know you're a Sharkies fan, so surely Adam Fanor-Blake comes in, big fella, and you look to get some improvement down the bottom with a Garrick or a Teddy. Like it's sometimes these weeks they aren't as crazy hard as others can be with the options. That there's less of them, but hopefully you're able to do that and get 297k in the bank. I just upgrade to those 2 guns and then build to other weeks, really. There's just little things that you've missed out on. There's things that you've done well in the last few weeks with Munster, but then you've missed a couple other different things in there. And do we work out, is that mid okay? Yeah, AFB or Tarpanay or something like that could work out well for you, Heath, in this one. And sometimes you do have to keep it that singular focus, unfortunately. With round 13 not being too hard of a week to sort things out, then it's very open on who you can pick. And then once you get through that week, as long as that person likely helps you down the road, like if you have a look at 15 here, it does have a fair few available, but adding like an AFB rather than the Tarpany could help in that week. He's got Stewart available in that one. Saifiti's injured, so he's maybe one you move on next week rather than not needing it to trade him this week. You could move on, or you can hold for the few weeks and hope that he does come back. But just have a general look at what you got for round 15 and trade a little bit according to that. All right, Will and his team, he's used 19 trades so far, so in a slightly better position again with, more than myself. So not too bad on that front, sitting at 254k bank, 3,900 overall. Trades in the last few weeks, I've had Garrett come in. Unfortunately, lost a bit of cash since then, but Tarpany been good. Got King Tonga when I did. Hosking, Nafahu White. So a little bit of unluckiness there with that one, but got Clark, Lucas, Riley Smith in round 9 and Halasima in round 8. So some good trades on that front there. An 886 pushed him down that little bit further from 2,900, which isn't super ideal, but let's go through and have a look, because we do have to focus on this round 12 right now. So in this one here, he's got a tremendous amount of players coming into round 12, which means holding trades could be good. But again, you look at the quality of output here and going down the line, Clark, Tarpany, Wong, Lucas, Hines, Garrick, Nongani Tuaze, Sharp, Hosking's available there. So Lucas could come down if we need to. White's injured. We've got Tamale as a looper looper. Or coming to wing fullback. Yeah, coming to wing fullback. That's fine. Riley Smith, Halasima, Hugo Safala, Nathan Cleary. Has so many edges, so many players this week, which, with half. So maybe half's the play that he could upgrade. But again, you're looking at a team that is has Dylan Egan. So maybe it's just a one upgrade trade, and with that extra cash available, 254, that he could go to an upgrade in that position. So sitting there with Hines missing round 13, maybe it's Fogarty in that half spot. That could be the upgrade. In this one, Fletcher Sharp could go up and play half, or you could loop with Savala in that one, and you could bring in another gun wing fullback. And that one trade wouldn't hurt you at all, given you got 25 left. So take away the 8, 17 before this week. So one trade would be fine. Then look to make a few upgrades in round 13. That could be sweet. And then just keeping an eye on round 14. So if White does leave the side, or Savala in the next few weeks, that team will be fine. And then just picking on the couple of spots that need some help here, which is round 15 mids. And the rest is decently set. So a good position there for Will, and could be simple this week. Could just be a one trader. Now, the great bus lane, 2,683. He's used 19 trades, so sitting in a decent spot as well. Last few weeks, we've got Savala and Lucas, Jazz Tabunga, King Tonga, Clark, Katoa, Hosking. Hot trades there. Nathan Cleary left aside. Very, very interesting there. Very, very fun. All right, bus lane. Let's get in there. Get in the bus. Round 12. Pretty well spread out there on that one. Horsburgh comes into mid with Tarpany and Clark. Jazz Tavanga in hooker. Edge, we've got Egan gone. Hosking comes in for him with Wong. Similar to my side there. He's got Savala and Katonga. So it's Savala and Katoa. Sorry. Rob Toyo is gone. Wing fullback. He's got Sharp, Yongi. Yeah. Okay. So tiny bit to do. Katonga can come in and play centre for Bofo Moore. And then just needs the gun fullback. So some teams it becomes fairly easy in these types of weeks. You're trading Egan, definitely. And does he just go to one of those wing fullbacks? And with crazy amount of bank, you can pick who you like. So one of those few that are available. There's less available this week. There's more available next week. So also look at that. Is it best to make that trade with one of those players this week, or wait to maybe potentially a better option the following week? So as you can see, as we go along, it becomes a little bit less, given we've spoken about similar things, and a lot of the advice can be similar. Looking to round 15, he's got a little bit of an issue with wing fullback and up top in mids and hooker. So again, adding to that over the next few weeks, Kolomatangi, these types of guys can aid that. And that's where we've been worried about, round 15 mids, and this has been a good way to improve it, having guys like Kolomatangi, Aiken in a pretty good spot as well. Now, Grant's Giants, he has used Fefi trades there at 23. So we saved one in round 5 and then round 9 as well. So just the 2 so far off max, which I think is slightly worse than myself, but has been dealing with guys being injured. Preston's had the Horsburgh 1 week out, Nicholson last week. This week already has Matt Burton. It's pretty fun. So Dylan Egan's going to have to go from this side. And a great move up to 77 spots into 258. All right, Fahu White injured too. Couchman's getting hold. I think in that scenario, moving on from White and Egan could be cool. Now, looking at this, Halasima, I think you just play Hosking and Halasima pretty comfortably there. He's got Clark, Tarpany, Riley Smith. Bring Riley Smith up to hooker. Play Clark, Tarpany in that one. Fahu White, like myself, would have been that guy. Now he's got an option of building to the next guy. Those trades in general, that Fletcher, Sharp and White last week would have hurt, but thankfully still managed a 962 due to the good trades that were made in the weeks prior with Farnworth, Drinky, Halasima, Lucas, King Tonga, Clark, Tarpany and Garrick in the 2 weeks before. So that's where the benefit was, and then got a little bit hurt by Sharp and White this week. But it's the lead up. So hopefully you can continue on the up trajectory and not go back down. So Farnworth and Lucas, really, really good. Garrick, Tedesco already. So that third wing fullback slot, there's a question mark on it. Which way do you play on this one? Nwangani Tawaza definitely seems the next best on ground, and he's not too expensive, so that could be completely fine. He also could muck around with Sharp going down to wing fullback and bring in a Fogarty. I think that's completely fine too. With Burton out next week, it'll be hard to double up, as I said, with 2 guys that miss round 13. Egan's sweet. So it's really just that one middle. And the question's going to be, do you trade Egan before White? Yes. Do you have enough cash in the bank? 16k? No. Now with him near 600k, can get anyone up to 600k, and that's where guys like Jazz Tavanga can work safely there in that awkward sort of mid 400s price. You can go to one of the cheapies for this week, which then, if you're just doing the one trade, gives you cash next week to go and improve that spot in Kolomatangi or whoever else you're looking to there. There's a few options. Or you double trade and go one up, one down. Not super ideal. I think in this scenario, just going one trade, going a little bit under where you may have been wanting to go in having Nafahu White, but longer term, it might be a better play to get into round 13 in a better spot. So Grant and his Giants in 258th. So only has Burton and Farnworth out next week. Would be White as well if he's definitely going to be out. But looking at around 15, very similar to most people. It's improving that mid a little bit, especially with, do you hold White? He's already holding Couchman, so Couchman will come in and cover that. Does White go to someone else? So that's where making some type of adjustment in that mid slot can set you up well, even if they do miss round 13. So the AFBs, McInnes's, all these guys do a really, really good job. So we'll leave it there, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in for my, what do you call it, team doctor, as Talking League call it, where I go through and help out squads and help them set up for at least the next 3 weeks. A lot of time, it's hard to be able to do that if you just need to make certain trades for that week, which a few of these teams had to, whereas some had a different opportunity to hold or to just make one upgrade and save some cash or build some cash and get in a position where you can push to make some good trades next week or in round 14 or 15 there. Because trades do become pretty full on and tough. He's used 23 with 21 remaining. He's sitting at 13 before this week. So that's where Grant, more in the line of maybe using one and then reassessing next week. So that's this video, guys. Thanks so much for joining, and you'll see my trades video a little bit later today. See you guys.